On April 26, 1986, the world witnessed one of the most devastating nuclear disasters in history. At the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine, reactor number 4 experienced a catastrophic explosion. This event released a massive amount of radioactive material into the atmosphere. The cause was a flawed reactor design coupled with human error during a safety test. The explosion and subsequent fire sent a plume of radioactive fallout across Europe. This disaster had long-lasting consequences for the environment and human health. The Chernobyl disaster serves as a stark reminder of the immense power of nuclear energy. It also highlights the importance of responsible development and robust safety protocols. The events at Chernobyl led to significant changes in the nuclear industry. These changes aimed to prevent similar tragedies from occurring in the future. The disaster also sparked global conversations about nuclear safety and the potential risks associated with this technology. The Chernobyl disaster continues to be a subject of intense study and debate. Scientists, engineers and policymakers examine the lessons learned from this tragic event. Their goal is to improve nuclear safety standards and minimize risks associated with nuclear power generation. The legacy of Chernobyl serves as a constant reminder of the need for vigilance, transparency and international cooperation in the nuclear field. The disaster's impact extended far beyond the immediate vicinity of the power plant. It raised global awareness of the potential dangers of nuclear accidents. This led to increased scrutiny of nuclear power plants worldwide. Governments and international organizations implemented stricter safety regulations and oversight. The goal was to enhance the safety and security of nuclear facilities and prevent future accidents. The RBMK-1000 reactor used at Chernobyl was a Soviet design that prioritized power output over safety features. One of its most significant flaws was the use of graphite as a moderator. Graphite, while effective in slowing down neutrons to sustain a chain reaction, also had a dangerous characteristic. Under certain conditions, the graphite could accelerate the nuclear reaction instead of slowing it down. This design flaw, known as a positive void coefficient, played a crucial role in the Chernobyl disaster. Another critical flaw in the RBMK reactor design was the lack of a containment structure. Most modern nuclear reactors are housed within thick concrete and steel containment structures. These structures are designed to contain any accidental release of radioactive material. The RBMK reactor, however, lacked this essential safety feature. This meant that when the explosion occurred, there was nothing to stop the release of radioactive material into the environment. The combination of these design flaws, coupled with inadequate safety procedures and operator errors, created a perfect storm for disaster. The Chernobyl accident exposed the inherent risks of the RBMK reactor design. This led to international calls for the shutdown or modernization of all remaining RBMK reactors. While some of these reactors have been upgraded with safety improvements, others remain in operation, raising concerns about the potential for another Chernobyl-like event. The Chernobyl disaster served as a wake-up call for the nuclear industry. It forced a reassessment of reactor design, safety protocols, and regulatory oversight. The disaster highlighted the importance of learning from past mistakes and continuously striving to improve the safety and reliability of nuclear technology. The legacy of Chernobyl continues to shape the development and operation of nuclear power plants worldwide. The explosion at Chernobyl released a massive amount of radioactive material into the atmosphere, contaminating a vast area. To contain the spread of radiation and protect human health, authorities established a 30-kilometer exclusion zone around the power plant. This zone, known as the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, or CZ, remains largely uninhabited to this day. It serves as a stark reminder of the long-lasting consequences of nuclear disasters. Despite the high levels of radiation, the CEZ has become an unlikely wildlife sanctuary. With human activity largely absent, wildlife populations have rebounded in the years since the disaster. Animals such as wolves, lynx and wild boar roam the abandoned buildings and overgrown forests. The presence of wildlife in the CEZ raises questions about the resilience of nature and the long-term ecological impacts of nuclear accidents. The Chernobyl disaster had a profound impact on the lives of millions of people. Thousands were evacuated from their homes, never to return. Many more were exposed to dangerous levels of radiation, leading to long-term health problems. The disaster also had significant economic and social consequences, disrupting industries, displacing communities, and casting a long shadow over the region. The legacy of Chernobyl continues to shape the lives of those affected by the disaster. Ongoing efforts focus on monitoring the health of exposed populations, providing medical care and mitigating the environmental impacts of the accident. The Chernobyl disaster serves as a reminder of the human cost of nuclear accidents and the importance of responsible stewardship of nuclear technology. The Chernobyl disaster cast a long shadow over the nuclear industry, raising concerns about the safety of other reactors, particularly those of similar design. The Kursk nuclear power plant in Russia, which houses 4 RBMK 1000 reactors, has been a particular source of concern. These reactors, while not identical to the one at Chernobyl, share some design features that have raised safety questions. International organizations, including the International Atomic Energy Agency, or IEA, have called for increased safety measures at Kursk and other RBMK reactors worldwide. These measures include upgrading safety systems, improving operator training, and implementing stricter regulatory oversight. The goal is to prevent another Chernobyl-like disaster and ensure the safe operation of these aging reactors. The Chernobyl disaster underscored the importance of robust nuclear safety regulations and international cooperation. In the aftermath of the accident, countries around the world strengthened their nuclear safety protocols and established new international agreements. The IEA plays a crucial role in promoting nuclear safety, providing technical assistance and setting international standards. The legacy of Chernobyl serves as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of nuclear accidents. It highlights the importance of continuous improvement in nuclear safety, transparency in the nuclear industry, and international collaboration to prevent future tragedies. By learning from the mistakes of the past and embracing a culture of safety, we can harness the benefits of nuclear technology while minimizing the risks. The Chernobyl disaster of 1986 left an indelible mark on the world. It exposed the devastating consequences of nuclear accidents. It also revealed the dangers of secrecy and the need for international cooperation. Today, as war rages in Ukraine, Chernobyl once again stands as a stark reminder of the fragility of peace. It serves as a potent symbol of the potential for catastrophe in a world grappling with conflict and geopolitical tensions. Chernobyl's significance in the current conflict extends far beyond its symbolic value. The site of the world's worst nuclear disaster became a battleground in the early days of the war. Russian forces seized control of the Chernobyl exclusion zone. This act sent shockwaves through the international community. The world watched with bated breath. They feared a repeat of the 1986 tragedy. Thankfully, the worst-case scenarios did not materialize. But the occupation of Chernobyl highlighted the vulnerability of nuclear sites during wartime. It underscored the need for their protection. This is even more critical in today's increasingly volatile world. The legacy of Chernobyl is a complex one. It is a legacy of tragedy, resilience, and the enduring power of human error. As the world grapples with the ongoing war in Ukraine, Chernobyl's lessons are more relevant than ever. They serve as a stark warning against the dangers of nuclear complacency. They also highlight the critical importance of international cooperation in the face of shared threats. The Russian occupation of Chernobyl was short-lived. It lasted from February 24th to March 31st, 2022. However, its impact on the site and the surrounding exclusion zone was significant. Russian troops entered the area with little regard for the sensitive nature of the location. Their actions raised serious concerns about nuclear safety and security. One of the most immediate concerns was the disruption of the site's monitoring systems. These systems are vital for tracking radiation levels. They also provide early warnings of any potential leaks or accidents. Russian forces reportedly damaged or destroyed some of this equipment. They also cut off power to the site. This forced the plant to rely on backup generators. Beyond the immediate threat to the site's safety, the occupation also hampered the work of the Chernobyl staff. Ukrainian technicians and engineers continued to work under duress. They ensured the safe operation of the facility. However, they faced intimidation and threats from Russian soldiers. This made their already challenging jobs even more difficult. The damage inflicted upon Chernobyl during the occupation was extensive. Reports indicate that Russian troops looted equipment, vandalized facilities, and dug trenches in the contaminated soil. The full extent of the damage is still being assessed. However, it is clear that the occupation had a significant impact on the site's infrastructure and its ability to function safely. The reckless actions of the Russian military at Chernobyl demonstrated a disregard for the potential consequences of their actions. Their occupation of the site was not only a violation of Ukrainian sovereignty, but also a reckless endangerment of regional and global security. The international community condemned their actions. The Russian occupation of Chernobyl was not just a military tactic, it was also a calculated act of psychological warfare. By seizing control of this highly symbolic location, Russia aimed to instill fear. They wanted to sow panic in Ukraine and the West. The specter of a nuclear disaster was a powerful weapon. Russia knew how to exploit it. The timing of the occupation, coinciding with the invasion's early days, amplified its psychological impact. The world watched in horror as Russian troops advanced on Kyiv. They seized control of Chernobyl. This brought back chilling memories of the 1986 disaster. It raised fears of a new nuclear catastrophe. The Kremlin's propaganda machine further fueled these fears. They spread disinformation about Ukraine's supposed plans to develop nuclear weapons. They accused Ukraine of plotting a dirty bomb attack. These baseless claims were intended to create confusion. They aimed to sow distrust in the Ukrainian government. The psychological impact of the Chernobyl occupation extended far beyond Ukraine's borders. It revived anxieties about nuclear safety and security across Europe. Governments and citizens alike were reminded of the devastating consequences of nuclear accidents. They grappled with the possibility of such an event occurring in the midst of a conflict. The Russian government's willingness to exploit the fear surrounding Chernobyl demonstrated their cynical disregard for international norms. They showed a willingness to use nuclear fear as a weapon. This tactic backfired. It only solidified international condemnation of Russia's actions. It further galvanized support for Ukraine. Chernobyl was not the only nuclear site caught in the crosshairs of the war in Ukraine. The country has 4 operating nuclear power plants. Together, they provide a significant portion of Ukraine's electricity. These facilities have also become targets. This highlights the vulnerability of nuclear infrastructure in times of conflict. The Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, Europe's largest, has been under Russian control since the early days of the invasion. The plant has been repeatedly shelled. It faces constant power outages. This raises concerns about a potential meltdown. The International Atomic Energy Agency has called for the creation of a safety zone around the plant. However, a lasting solution remains elusive. Other Ukrainian nuclear facilities have also faced threats. The Khmelnytsky nuclear power plant experienced a near miss when a Russian missile struck nearby. Shelling has damaged power lines supplying the Rivne nuclear power plant. This forced it to operate at reduced capacity. These incidents underscore the precarious situation of Ukraine's nuclear infrastructure. They highlight the need for urgent action to protect these facilities. The targeting of Ukraine's nuclear power plants is a reckless and irresponsible act. It demonstrates a blatant disregard for the safety and well-being of millions of people. The potential consequences of an accident at any of these facilities are too grave to contemplate. The international community must pressure Russia to cease its attacks on these critical infrastructure. The war in Ukraine has served as a stark wake-up call. It has highlighted the dangers posed to nuclear facilities during armed conflicts. It's a reminder that the peaceful use of nuclear energy depends on a secure and stable international order. The world must learn from the mistakes that have brought us to this point. We must work together to prevent a nuclear catastrophe. This is essential for the future of Ukraine, Europe, and the world. Chernobyl's war moment ripples outward. NATO, built on US might, faces a test. What if America walks away? Trump's 2024 campaign flirted with it. Quitting could gut Article 5, leaving Europe exposed. Russia's watching. With nukes in Belarus and 1,500 tactical warheads, a US exit might greenlight aggression. Think Baltics, Poland, or worse. Europe's nervous. France's 290 warheads could lead a new deterrent, but Macron's cagey. Germany's debating its own nukes, breaking the NPT taboo. Poland wants in too, hosting or building. Energy's tied in. Germany ditched nuclear post-Chernobyl. France embraced it. Russia's gas cuts push a nuclear comeback, but without US backup, can Europe hold the line? Chernobyl's exclusion zone thrives. Wildlife roams, but wars stall tourism. Radiation fades slowly. Cesium-137's half-life is 30 years. Its lesson: nuclear power's clean until it's a weapon. A US-less NATO might spark a European arms race. France, Germany, Poland going nuclear could unravel the NPT. Russia might escalate. China might join the fray. Or could Chernobyl's scars push us greener? Solar, wind. Anything but this. Chernobyl's a warning: past disaster, present war, future gamble. A US-NATO exit and Europe's nuclear pivot could redefine everything. Stability's fragile. What's your take? America in or out? Europe with nukes? Comment below, like and subscribe for more.